Let's start with the recap just to help out a little bit. It was court, a memoriam, and an unknown visitor. What happened last time, Henry?
I'm going to be really honest. I'm probably not the person to ask anything of right now.
Ella, you have the notes. What happened last time?
Okay. So
Bless our note
last
taker.
Yeah. So last time there was an interrogation. We started with interrogations with Henry and Julian, and their like little pleasantries. We realized that there was a door that had been repaired, but it was like the house built itself. Were to be determined on that. We discussed expanding the Guardian's border beyond the home, and Henry wrote the contract hella detailed. And then there was a conversation with Dominic and Sabrina. We met up and had a situation with the Baron, Margaret Kai, and there's escorts. And Julian smelled blood on her fingers because she had fed as a precaution. Yeah, and so when we all went through our justification or our admittance of guilt for things that we did not do and should not be guilty of, Henry said that they deserved it. I said that no one was actually guilty except for the Ravnos, and also if anything happened, they deserved it. Julian gave his apologies and sad boy shit. Dahlia just stepped out, and Dowser said this is something else. Yeah, and so Margaret discussed what happened to Henry, and Henry tries to take one for the team, and Kai is waiting to break up and Shem to see what happens when it's broken. Yeah, and then Julian doesn't frenzy, because why would he? And our punishment, when all was said and done, was staying in the basement for a week on house arrest. And we or Henry owe a minor boon to Alejandro. Then we went to break. Yeah, and so it goes dark, and we had like a flashback montage where we are aware that this is where we met prior to us coming to Dusktown, or maybe we're in Dusktown. We were hazy on the details, but we recognize one another. And in this memory, we haven't met yet, but the woman who had brought us together, she was like the shadowy figure, no face. We know her as a benefactor and our sixth coterie member. And so she initially walks up to Julian, and she smells like perfume, and the room has like heavy cigarette smell and cigars. And she tells Julian that she needs someone with good nature. And he said he would follow her lead. And she introduces herself to Dahlia, and she says her names, but she says her name to us, but she, like, in our dream, we don't remember what it was. And she basically wants Dahlia because she needs someone who's not afraid of opening doors. And she said to Ella that we hadn't met previously, but she needs someone who can lead a command. And then she goes to Dowser, and question mark there. We come upstairs, and there's something threatening the world, and we have a part to play. It'll be nothing like we've ever done before, but Shadow Mommy, as I've called her, has a particular skill set and doesn't want us to die. If we don't participate, we won't have enough food if this event happens. We do find out that we're in Chicago at the point of this flashback dream sequence. And then there is this, I guess I was a little confused if there's like a collective dream or if this is something we all were aware of, but there was this fight montage scene where Ella has a spear into like someone or something, maybe a demon, we don't know, but as she's wedging the spear into this person's chest. It's grabbing her by the ankles and burning Ella. And Dahlia is for gateways. Dahlia, she's channeling like a god. And Henry is with the guardian, and Julian's praying. And Dowser's at the lake fishing is what I put in my notes. But
Stop a tidal wave.
he was he was stopping the tidal wave. So he's preventing that from drowning or something. And then we wake up and yeah, there's someone praying at the door.
Yeah. Dowser's apparently friend that he saved, Carson, who is a revenant and older than he looks. And he is, he was your go-to deal with mortals kind of guy. And apparently he's good at building shit, so he's gonna take care of the house.
I do have something to add. The woman was a mage. As in a thaumaturge.
Yeah, she was awakened. I think Julian had a lot of questions about this because he was not aware of different realities and awakened even being a thing, which piqued his curiosity.
And Dahlia and Carson, Dowser's ghoul there, who knows how to build things, are just getting along. They're starting a great relationship together. And when the camera, like when the curtains drew together again, basically they were together, and Dahlia was speaking of plans, all kinds of plans of transforming their little home into a mansion worthy of their social status. So, Carson was just kind of listening and writing down all sorts of things and promising to get her blueprints and everything else. So, yeah. Big plans.
And then you all...
and Dowser, I think, threatened under his breath, like, if you harm my goal.
This one you won't kill. Then you all spent your week doing different things, and I'm gonna go through everyone one by one, and please, everyone watching, bear with us, because there's gonna be a lot of roles. Some people have scenes, other people have rituals and things like that, but we're just gonna do it one by one as I remember these things. Also, I'm gonna start with you. You developed your wards specifically against wraiths, and researching a bit of what will possibly harm them, according to common lore, salt and cold iron if your ward fails. So
Just
fire pokers and were all supernatural with shotgun shells filled with salt. You had enough blood to conduct at least a ritual on yourself or your jacket or something like that. You don't have to roll before it's triggered. But I want to ask you, do you want to ward anyone else's jackets or processions that they can wear?
Who needs ghost defense? Genuine question.
I mean, I won't say no if it was offered. It seems pretty cool.
Henry would be happy for that.
Then Dowser will make sure to go and at least ward Julian's jacket and Henry's, and offer Ella if she wants a ward as well.
I feel like Dahlia would accept it, if only like as a secondary measure of precaution. So yeah, I've been thinking and going back and forth in my head, would she take it or not? Like, I think she would do it. Yeah.
Well, Dowser, you have, I think I said 14 for each of your rouse checks, so you have more than plenty, which means you're at hunger 1 when we begin.
That's a lot of successes.
Ella, I have a scene for you and a ritual. both are kind of combined. I know you wanted to have a conversation with the Guardian and also possibly the celestial being in your basement.
Hmm.
You are alone with the Guardian in your room. You know this is the safest place to be, and the only one who could possibly hear your conversation is Julian, but he seems a bit afraid to use his ears at the moment. And he also is very preoccupied with something else. But the Guardian is standing before you, just looking, waiting, having a shit-eating grin. He seems very happy this week.
Hmm. Let me double check something really quick. Okay. Yeah. So before going to do the ritual, she would ask, what, seeing him there, what is your source of joy at the moment, given all that's gone down in the recent weeks?
Your misfortune and nightmares, hellish experience, and that sort of thing. I take great pleasure in seeing you all suffer. Except you, of course.
Understood. And is there anything that could change that? Anything at all?
For the rest of them, I mean, if you let the world end, you don't have any need to hold grudges.
Not at all unreasonable.
Just girly things. That's fine. Okay, understood. I was just curious. It seems that things are going up, down, left, and right here. And while there seems to be misfortune for us, it doesn't seem to be any greater or less than the others here in Dusktown.
You assigned me a task, and I'm compelled to fulfill it, but I take no joy in it, and it's totally involuntary.
Was there ever a time in your life, unlife, or existence that you did have joy?
Yes. But it was... I remember eons ago when the little monkeys didn't exist, and we were happy. None of us was exiled, and there was no need to rebel. We sat in our rightful place in the cosmos as superior beings to everything. I quite enjoyed the wars. The rise of your kind was also very enjoyable. Making a new kind of demon is fun. You are, of course, inferior to the real thing, but still better than the sapiens.
And yet between all of us, we seem to have our own title of monster, depending on who you ask.
Yes. But monster is a term mortals come up with when they don't understand something, which is a lot.
Possibly. I guess that's to be determined on how the fate of my companions here in the house fare, given the upcoming events that are going to transpire, both within the walls of this place and the confines of the city.
You succeeded once, I have no doubt you will do so again.
So, as always, I always appreciate our abilities to catch a moment to talk. It seems like I have a few more tasks that I need to tend to.
Yes. She is waking. And I hate her even more than I hate you guys.
Don't recall too much. I don't know. When was the last time you were there? Have you ever been into where she is or where she resides?
We can always sense each other and communicate. But we feel little need to talk. We were on opposite sides
Of the same coin?
of the war.
Okay. Well, don't know if I have any memory of her, but I don't have any fear. So, till I see her, appreciate this conversation as always.
He bows a little bit.
She will make her way.
As you descend into the crypt and you're about to perform your ritual, I believe you want to make contact with the entity. And of course you don't speak because you're not allowed to, but you do hear the voice. It's a very melodic, calm female voice, and when you close your eyes, you see a face, a woman, great wings, as you would expect an angel to have, bright glow, silvery hair, almost flowing as she's underwater, or in zero gravity, something like that. You wish to speak.
She'll nod her head yes.
I can hear your thoughts. You won't be breaking any rules.
And she's seeing this person like in front of her ethereally, right?
Yeah, when you close your eyes, yes.
Okay. She will kneel and she will put her hands forward in front of her and in her mind think to herself, the thirst for victory and the thirst for success comes second to my thirst for hunger, which I believe could be helped in this situation. If that's not something that's available, my allegiance and continued dedication to you and the cause of Dusktown has and always will remain.
I care very little for the mortals and the other beings. I do wish to be free and return home. You are corrupted beings that needs to be purged. But if you free me, I could spare you, cleanse you, make you mortal, and take you out of this world of darkness that you have found yourself in.
Ella's going to think for a second. And in her mind, she's ruminating about the skill set. I believe that would be a good option, an opportunity for what I've seen of Dusktown to date. And yet, I believe that sometimes we need to keep what we have at our disposal or use closest to us until we must use it. I don't believe that this offer isn't worth accepting. Yet, I believe that there are other resources that can be utilized before we tap into what you have available.
Think on it. The next time my followers assault your building, if you're on their side, I will spare you.
If the question was left to me to answer solely on my own, it would be yes. However, I have not won the battles and the conversations that I have by making decisions hastily. So I will keep that in mind going forward.
Just have a sense of acceptance and she fades from your mind. I need you to do 2 rolls. First roll is blood sorcery and intelligence +1.
The blood sorcery. Intelligence
Yes,
plus 1.
+1.
3 successes.
Yes, it's 3, and the next one is your presence plus intelligence +1. I know it's a weird roll.
So I'm doing presence +1.
Presence plus intelligence +1.
Hold on, that's wrong. Sorry. Four successes.
7 total.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You take 1 aggravated willpower damage from conducting the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the prisoner, her mind kind of fades, and she falls asleep, for lack of a better term. And your ritual will last 7 nights, days, which will keep or give all of you +2 to wits.
It's a +2 to what?
Wits.
Thank you.
And next on my list is Henry. Henry wanted to learn about the abyss, and well, your special friend in there,
Very much so.
as far as I remember. First a little bit on the abyss. Well, it's I'm not sure if a layer in Oblivion is correct, but it's what mortals refer to as hell. It's where some demons come from, and it's where, of course, La Sombra draw their power from. There's also, it's made as a sort of a prison for things older than mankind and even some celestial beings. Like the name you got, Pandemonium.
Mm-hmm.
Lovecraftian horrors, if you just want a normal term for it. Is there anything else I can tell you about the Abyss? Any specific questions you have?
No, it was more. Henry was able to cry a tear from the abyss. So, trying to find out why, how, what the link was.
You meditate and try to contact the being, and your mind is transported into sheer darkness, except for a woman made of shadow and blood. And I'm hovering before you. When you look down and around, you can do that freely, but you have no physical body in here. It's only your spirit or your mind. And she speaks. Child, you have questions?
Many. Why?
Why what?
Why me?
You are a descendant. We have a link. One of the Black Angels.
How can I serve?
You're doing what you need to. We need to cleanse the world of those with filthy blood. And ascend to a higher state of being. Kindred are all demonic in nature. Our bloodline knows this and have the ability over time to ascend to demonhood. I know that word has a negative connotation, but it's really our next step in evolution.
A pure form.
Exactly. Our greatest enemies are, of course, the Giovanni and the Bali. Those who serve pure evil.
I don't think I've encountered them yet.
The Giovanni put me in here. Your cousin is working tirelessly to break me out of jail.
Are they doing this to control you?
Of course not.
Okay. I will assist them.
If you can. If you come across any rare artifacts, like the coins of Judas,
Mm-hmm.
things that are ancient. I don't expect you to stumble across the Spear of Destiny or anything like that, but the coins are more scattered. Also, the statue will help you to communicate with me more freely and less taxing.
Doing my best to acquire. The Baron seems to be keen on keeping hold of things in the museum.
If you need more tears, I can possess you again. You, of course, will have to endure the strain of it. But it is possible. I can only interact with the outside world through my descendants.
Keep that in mind.
Do you
Is
have...
there any,
Sorry, continue.
besides the Giovanni and the Bali, is there anything else we need to be alert to?
Anyone serving the demons, more celestial beings, We do not serve them, we bind them and use them as tools. You have already achieved this once. Once you get hold of the book, you will be able to do it again.
Working on the cults from Devon.
Yes. That is one being that should not be let out of its prison.
There is no rush.
Is there more I can do for you, my child?
Not at the present, but if there's any more that I can do for you.
You're already doing it. You have a feeling she's smiling, but she has no face. I'm gonna jump to Julian then, if you're okay. Julian, I know people said they wanted to read to you and help you acquire some knowledge, and unfortunately they have all been very, very busy, but the Guardian is always there for you, ready to read out loud on any subject that you wish to know something about. I know you were curious about mages, and you have learned a lot also about realities. It's kind of mind-numbing how many there are. I've given you a long list of all the cosmology of World of Darkness, and you have the brief descriptions of them. But
The brief description.
on
Very
mages,
comprehensive. Mm.
well, you've learned they're human. They have the powers to bend reality in some sort of way, but they are not gods. They are hit by paradoxes if people do not believe in what they're doing. They can fly, yes, but if people do not believe they can fly, they cannot. Supernatural beings are, of course, more prone to believe what they can do because they see it every day, but humans do not. So if you cast a fireball, you need to blow up a gas leak or something, because that is more believable. You have disciplines, they have spheres they control. Different aspects of reality like life and time and mind. And they have their spark that they ignite and become awakened. And many things can do this. And that is where they gain their power. Like you have the Camarilla and the Anarchs and all these other factions, they of course have their own. They have their councils and technocracy, with just apparently why planes can fly, because they have made people believe that they can. Because apparently huge things made of metal should not be able to fly. What else can
I'd say
Sorry.
with 2 dots in intelligence, I think Julian is like, he's hearing this. He has curiosity. A lot of this stuff is literally going over his head. He's just like, what? You know, he's just kind of like listening and just sort of like nodding, and then he'll stop when the Guardian says something that like completely blows his mind, and then he starts nodding slower, like, yeah, I get it, okay, you know, but he doesn't really. So his mind is not something that has been cultivated over the several hundred years he's been alive.
You spent a week doing this, so I've given you like an extensive note section on all these things if you ever needed the information for something. You have also gotten some sort of device that Carson can charge for you and apparently store music on. It's quite pleasant.
And he like holds it and he's like tapping it against the wall. He's like, it's made of a very strange material. It's not wood.
Aluminium.
Oh. It's cold like metal, but I can feel it's brittle. And he's just kind of like, you know, He's just kind of like playing with it. But he can't really see it, so he's purely just like with touch.
Yeah. It is does have buttons. It's not a smartphone or something like that. It's probably some kind of iPod from 10 years ago, but it can store classical music or whatever you want in there, whatever has been recorded.
He's like hitting around, and then like I don't know, like a Wham, like Wham, the band Wham starts playing, and he's like, "Oh, I like this a lot." He's like, "Yeah, it's too loud in his ears." He's like, "This is really good. Thank you." And so, yeah, that's Julian's been having a little bit of a educational crash course.
Yes. I know you're not good with technology, but this is easy once it is explained and you fiddle around with it. There's also, I know you probably don't have your ears on because you've been focused on many things, but there is a lot of construction noise during the day. Carson is taking down the whole building and starting from scratch.
I think,
Sorry.
I just was gonna say, I think Julian would just probably say something like, "Is there a sphere for music? Just music? You know, they always say that music is magic, you know?" And he's like saying this to the Guardian, and with it, you can hear it like it loud in his ears, like little earpieces. And I bet the Guardian's just pissed off again, just looking at it. And that's it. I just wanted to throw in that little line.
Don't know what the Swiss sphere would be. Matter or mind, something. I'm sure
Maybe it's
something
the 11th. The 11th sphere.
Dahlia, you have spent your time drawing the blueprints and coming up with the initial construction of the mansion. But you've also done some ceremonies, and we need to do some roles for those. The rouses are not important because you have plenty of blood. The summoning of the spirit, not important either because you can just take half your dice. But what is important is the compel spirit, because the number of successes determine how much you can get this spirit to do. How many tasks it can perform.
How enhanced and strong the compulsion is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I need you to do a ceremony roll for that.
Okay. Well, I believe that's resolve plus oblivion.
Yes, +1.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to rouse for this because this is an important role. I would like this spirit to be compelled. And that's a hunger game.
It's fine. You have 14 rouse checks.
Yeah.
So.
That's completely fine. It's all good. Hey, why did that not?
Doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't seem right. Actually, let me go ahead and check. Nope, that's wrong too. Okay.
Can you just click next to your oblivion?
I am going to go ahead and modify this so that resolve and discipline. There we go. And honestly, I think that, yeah. All right. Now let's try this. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And we're going to keep the messy critical there. That is, it seems overly dramatic, but that also feels very Dahlia. So yeah, she's going ham on this compulsion. That's a 6 success for the audience. Critical, messy critical, dramatic flair, all kinds of very presumptuous, arrogant berating and compulsion from Dahlia. This spirit is abused, but also compelled.
I know I said 2, but it is oblivion. So can you give me 2 rouse checks? I just want to see for both
Oh
of
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Just
yeah. This is going to challenge the humanity, is it?
yeah. Just give me 2 rolls.
Those are 2 successes.
Any one of them are a 10 or a 1.
One of them is a 10. So
All
that's a stain, I believe.
You get a stain from just performing the thing, and because you made it messy critical, you get another, and because you're binding a spirit, you get another. So 3 stains
Outstanding.
for binding. The
I love
spirit.
it. Yeah, yeah. I can already feel the ashen effects of losing
But
humanity.
because it's a crit, though, you have doubled the amount of tasks. So that's 12 things you can tell it to do.
Amazing.
Before
It
it's
gets
released.
a name. The
It's,
spirit is going to be called Benny for Benicio.
That is
I don't
fine.
care what its original name was. That's the name now. So yeah.
It doesn't care either anymore.
Yeah.
It was very angry when you summoned it, but
Yeah.
that passed because you had its feather.
It's been disciplined. Yeah, it's been brought into line to understand its role in this relationship. Yeah, so it has been summarily disciplined and yeah.
Carson has also acquired a very, 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 very long silver chain for you.
That's amazing. Silver, even. Yeah.
Because you need that for
I was
your,
expecting Carson to just procure an iron chain, but like silver, I mean, he went all out.
I think
She's
for
got
the
a basic, yeah.
for I can never pronounce it. For Densa's of spaghetti, something spaghetti. Sorry. It needs to be a silver
No
chain.
pasta or lasagna here.
Yeah. It needs to be a silver chain. The way I've done it with Henry and Dowser, because usually it would take you, I believe for rank 3 or level 3, it would take you 15 minutes to do this thing, which is not sensible in a combat scenario. So you prepare it beforehand, and then
That's what I intended to do anyway. We were both on the same track on that.
So
yeah.
you rouse for it now, and
Yeah.
then when you activate it, you do the roll. So just give me 1 rouse. If it's
Okay.
a 1 or a 10, then you get
Another stain? Yeah, no, it's a 6.
Okay.
No excitement. I already got 3 stains, folks. You know, like if I get 3 more, I'm in degeneration. I'm just gonna have to accept the humanity loss because Dahlia clearly doesn't care. So yeah, that is a success on the rouse.
Yeah.
Would you like me to describe that, or
The chain.
like the ritual or anything like that?
When you do it, you have prepared for now. So
It is prepared. Yeah,
you have memorized your spell.
And this is where the description is a little bit funny in Trails of Ash and Bone, because it's like, oh yeah, you need an iron or silver chain, either one will do. And then it says the steel chain, you know, so somehow it's transmuted into a steel. Who knows, really? You know, the exact details of this particular Oblivion ceremony are lost to time and legend, you know. So
When
there's something funny that happens here.
when Dowser played JK, I let him reuse the chain. So
Yeah.
But we get to Monday evening. You're free. Sorry.
I would just like to say that Dahlia is pleased with Carson and is already like working towards stealing him away from Dowser, because he has proven to be a most loyal servant and has served her very well. And she knows a good servant when she sees one. And it just so happens that he happens to be employed by Dowser, and Dowser just happened to find some golden talent here, but she feels that she can direct this talent in a new and better way. And so she has engaged in, if, you know, like maybe just spiking his drink just a little bit with a drop a vitae here and there. just to improve relationships between, more than one employer, and like making Carson more friendly and amenable to her presence, since she is losing her humanity by the moment. And so, it's just one of those things where, she's just trying to improve and strengthen their relationship and their bonds. So
Sounds better than the treatment you gave the last one.
Right, exactly. I feel that she's doing a good thing here, and Carson will only see benefits on his end. And so it's just, but I just want to know that like from time to time when she has the opportunity, she's going to spike his drink, whatever he happens to be imbibing at the moment. So
a charitable Hakata, something new and exciting for the world of darkness.
Exactly.
Well, he is a revenant, so he's very happy about drinking anyone's blood.
Yeah, I imagine he would be.
Doesn't seem to have any real effect on him, though. But he likes you
at the
all,
moment, right?
so
Exactly.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, and it's subtle, right? She doesn't want him to come home one day and go, Dowser, I don't like you anymore, and suddenly he snuggles up with Dahlia. She doesn't want that. That would cause unnecessary drama, and we've already got plenty of that. So, between the two other members of this coterie who are attempting to destroy the world in their own terms, and also pick allegiances between the Celestials and Infernals, so it's one of those things where she's acting on a more subtle. Dahlia is very overt and very. She's up in your face more often than not. So this is her being, exercising the other dimension of her character and just acting on the long game, subtle employee relationships, and that sort of thing. So, nothing that Dowser's even going to suspect at this point in time.
I have to say, Carson, you make a fine wraith.
It's like one day you're going to die, but you know what? I have a way for you to exist beyond that in service to us, and I know that's what you really want to do. You can find, I can help you find your happiness.
We just have to make your death very traumatic.
That's okay. Everybody dies. It's how we do it that matters.
We'll workshop it.
Exactly.
I'm going to get awards against the vampires at some point.
Here, Carson, put this on. You're going to need this.
It's like, you know what? We're going to switch from race to vampires here.
We're just going to get you all the lore sheet where you're possessed by a wraith. We get to Monday evening. I say evening, 5 o'clock. You wake. You're finally allowed to leave your sanctuary again. You don't have to rouse. You've done all that. I know some of you are very hungry. Julian. The rest of you are probably at 1 because you haven't done that much. But Julian has been doing a lot of healing. And when you get outside, there's no building anymore. Just piles of rubble. And containers filled with trash. And a very large fence around your premises with, what are they called? Tarps? Yeah, tarps. So you can't see through.
Yeah.
And you can kind of pull open the gate, but there are numerous signs of cameras and guard dogs and all the things that, Carson has put up to be left to work in peace.
It's a construction site. Yeah.
He has been doing this on his own, but he seems happy doing it. Doesn't seem to sleep much, because he's also awake during the night.
Well, he's got the vitae of 2 very old kindred flowing through him, so he's feeling great.
The weather upside is, of course, there's a fog, but there's also, it's snowing and very windy. It's not a blizzard, but it's getting there. And because of this, you can see 2-3 meters in front of you. If the fog is not making it any better, and it's very weird when they're combined. But
Dowser, can you do something about this?
You can see through it. Just if anyone peeks outside. But we start with you all waking up and gathering around the table to make plans.
We already made our rouse checks for this evening, so is that what we're counting for this? Is that what's going on
Yes,
there?
you're all at except Julian, Hunger One, and
So
Wide Awake.
second question. Since my stains happened during the course of this week, do I make a remorse check now or afterwards?
At the end of the session.
Okay, all right.
There's still plenty more that can be acquired.
Okay, yeah.
Miss Oblivion.
yeah. Well, it's the one track that, anybody who chooses Oblivion, like La Sombras and Hakata, are probably like, you've accepted that your humanity's going to go away.
I've totally forgotten to pay attention to your rouse checks when you use your shit, so
Yeah.
Julian and Henry as well, so I'm trying. But yeah, you are gathered. You had the least conversation about acquiring the Warden's Feather, because that will help you appease Agnes, who will give you a sight of death for one of the murder victims, so you can track down the serial killer and figure out what to do with him. Aya is aware now that you're doing this. But Julian, you still have the offer from Dr. Wilborn that if he gets that serial killer, you get a position at his hospital and feeding mission. What else? Carson has brought down a box. It's filled with cameras.
Is this for the Nosferatu?
Oh, the Malkavian.
Malkavian.
Yes,
Yeah, that's the one.
you assume so. She said she would send some at some point. What you do with them is up to you.
Pass the box to Dahlia.
They're small, discreet, and seems like they can just be mounted with a screw.
Okay.
So how are we gonna get out on the lake then?
It
Never.
feels like your area. I mean, come on. You're Mr. Water person. Like make it happen.
It's not like I can just make a boat out of nothing.
You can't just part the water or something? Like, we can do this. Yeah.
Oh, like in the good book.
Yeah.
Rayburn offered us transportation for when you need it.
Oh, well, there we go.
Because Waltramere evidently have access to submarines.
I'd prefer a boat.
Yes, he did.
I'd like a
offer it.
boat that was fine
submarine.
even if it's sunk.
Yeah, but not that Dahlia would know this at all. But as players, we know that submarines don't always do so well. I'm not going to mention any examples, but
Also, they require a crew, and none of you know how to operate them.
right.
How hard could it be?
That's a
Famous
good
last
point.
words. Yeah.
But you, when Dahlia and Darcy were at the harbor, you did see at least one or two fishermen down there with these very large boats that have I don't know what it's called, like sort of a plow at the head of the ship, so you can, crash through the ice.
The icebreakers.
Icebreakers, thank you. Yeah, why
That's-
wouldn't it be
that's
called
what we
that?
Yeah. It's amazing to me that this is all iced over and that we can't just walk on it. That
You probably
Feels-
can if you find a spot where it hasn't been broken. We are in January and it's fucking cold.
and once again, I feel like this is Dowser's area. Like, okay, solidify the ice, like make sure that we can walk across it. Let's go, pull your weight. Come on, do your job.
Wait, do we know if there's any sort of beach connected to the mental asylum?
Apparently it's on a lake.
So it's Alcatraz for Dusktown. Yeah.
Because we can't technically just walk on the bottom, like swim.
No,
Nothing.
but our storyteller just said it was a lake of ice, like it's covered in ice.
I meant if we fall through.
But this is something you can do, right? You can make the ice like go from 2 inches to 2 feet, and then we're fine.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like we're beings producing heat or anything. We're kindred, we're as cold as the ice. So
Herein lies the problem. If you fall through, you will fall into torpor very fast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that at all. I just feel like we, rather than going through all the hassle of like trying to chop through the ice and everything, let's just walk over it with our helpful water mage here, like, basically, deepening the ice so that it makes it more solid for us.
I can make the water attack you.
But you can't make it useful.
No.
What is even the point of you?
Ride the wave.
I appreciate you, Dozer.
Thank you.
When he mentions make the water attack, he's like, you just hear Julian, material sphere. I think it's called material. He just says it to himself. Honestly, he's a little bit more, since he's so hungry, he's a little bit weirder. I just will say that much. That little bit of like, he's a little more frenetic, I think.
Julian will just get a side eye of like, what the fuck have you been reading?
Yeah, Dahlia will stop for a second and look at Julian too, but then disregard it as one of his, just his normal ramblings about pain and suffering and the human condition and all of that. So probably something to deal with that.
But yeah, we should probably head down to the harbor and try and...
It feels like that's a good first step, even if our water mage is completely useful in this completely water-based situation. So,
Julian, do you want to hunt?
I was thinking that he would try and get to the hospital, and he was going to broker a deal with the Dr. Wilborn for the information that he got when we went to the Ravnos's hideout, and he looked into that girl's future, and he's like, just asking to feed once, like basically provide information for feeding is what he's hoping to do, if possible.
Do a hunting roll.
Let me see.
Just to see if you actually get to the hospital.
Like a predator roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Would I be able to add heightened senses to this?
Is it a wits roll?
Oh, no, it's intelligence and awareness.
No. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Not.
3 successes, my lord.
3. No frenzy. Damn it.
You wanted it, I know.
You get to the hospital.
well, actually, he's at hunger 4, right? Did he just roll for like the frenzy?
No, I just wanted to see if he massacred or something.
Okay. Because he might still frenzy at the smell or taste of blood at hunger 4.
Just to go over it quicker, and we don't have a scene. What do you want to tell Wilborn?
He was gonna, for expediency, he would just say that like we went to the location that we believe that there would be, that he would explain that I believe Dowser had the vision leading us to this location, that there was someone who's going to die there, and that Julian looked into the future death of a girl there and saw 2 possibilities. One, that she would live to be like to her 90s, and the other one is that in about 10 years' time, if we did not stop the serial killer, he would still be operating, and that he was in a warehouse. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is going back months, but I believe in a warehouse, a dusty warehouse with the smell of formaldehyde, and he would describe to the best of his ability. Because I think I did roll pretty well that day, because that's why I got the dual visions. He would explain like what the warehouse looks like and the chemical smells, and he would say like these things and just describe it to the doctor, saying that whoever this person is has access to these chemicals and a piece of real estate of that size, most likely. So this is the first glimpse. If it's not this serial killer, it's the next one, that kind of thing. But more than likely, because of the MO of the killer and who it targets, that this is likely the killer, and this is where they'll be in 10 years if we don't stop him.
The thing he gets out of it is that you're doing the task, and you're adamant about it. And for that, he lets you take the life of someone who's terminal, and you go to 0.
Hell yeah. It sounds so brutal.
And probably meet the rest at the harbor. You get to the harbor, and you see what looks like a disassembled oil rig. And a couple of fishermen's boats, but only one of them seems to have a crew on them. The man who looks like Dowser's brother, at least to Dowser. To the rest of you, he's a blonde man like Dowser. He has even the winter brown skin, because he's out a lot. But the kind of brown skin Caucasian people get when they're, out in the sun a lot.
But this is January.
Yes. He retains it.
So he hasn't gotten a tan in a while, right?
It's the kind of person who will get leathery skin as he ages.
Yeah.
Wears a blue jacket, has a short full beard. He seems to be fiddling around with some ropes and some nets and some very large cages. It's quite a big boat for one man. Maybe he has a crew during I want to say the day, but it's probably early mornings or evening. Also, he looks like he is fishing crab and eel and, things on the bottom.
Does he look like you? Like, is he like your twin?
No, not that. But
Look in Discord.
Oh, okay.
They look similar.
That
Yes.
looks similar. Yeah, and I think,
Okay.
Dahlia, you had an inside roll at some point. It's like, he kind of looks like Dowser.
Yeah.
And I think you made the remark of he could be your brother.
Eric Christensen, that guy?
Yeah.
Yep, I can see it.
But he's the only guy around that you can see. Again, you can only kind of clearly see 2-3 meters. What's that? 6 miles in front of you. And no, I think it's what's that? 6 to 12 feet because of the fog and the snow. But you do see a person on a boat because of the lights, and hear the sounds, especially you, the metal scraping across the floor of the boat. And there is a huge icebreaker in front of at the helm, I think. The ship. I don't know ship terminology that well. I should though.
Storyteller.
Yes.
The sound carries. I think Julian is going to allow himself to use heightened senses. And may I do an awareness check? Because I know, like, out across the water carries sound, like, better.
Yeah. There is a lot of wind.
Mm.
But yes, you will. You may use your.
This is like Julian's passive sonar.
Let's see. Let me look.
He's doing his daredevil thing again.
I'm doing the daredevil thing. Wits 3 mod.
Remember, you have a +2 from ritual.
1.
Oh, I can.
Oh yeah, you have
+1.
+3 total because of your power.
Wow.
Well, I would have +5 actually, because I use heightened senses. Should I add that in or?
Or is
What
a
do I
6
do?
critical enough?
Yeah, what do I do, my lord? I'm confused, my lord.
I think 6 crit is probably good for most things. What are you looking for in particular?
Just to get a feel, like, he has a general understanding that the island that they're talking about is in like facing in front of him, and just getting a feel of the place. He doesn't come to the water very often, so but he will be focusing on like the island. Does he hear any sounds coming from it?
No, but the others don't even see it. It is, as I said, windy, snowing. You hear the ice creak, and it kind of sends waves into the water. They're fish. They're kind of sleeping at the bottom of the harbor. But you also catch in lack of better terms, a glimpse of something very large swimming down there, bipedal, with claws and a what do they call it? Between the fins thingy. Swimming things. my vocabulary is
The webbed.
yeah, webbed. Thank you.
Yeah.
English hard. But yeah, a being you have not encountered before, and it seems to be hunting the sleeping fish. It's about 60 feet down.
It's horrifying. I just want to say for the record.
Does Julian say anything about that?
He's like hears it, and he kind of like gets like he can hear like its footfalls and like the mud at the bottom, and he's just, there's something down there. Something walking on 2 feet. On the lake floor.
Julian, whatever are you talking about?
There's a
We're well
creature
aware
down
of
there.
them. There's a lot of them, not just one.
Well, there's one within right there. And he's pointing like down in like the direction where he can hear it.
Like an alligator, a manatee. There's so many different things that go underwater that have legs, even birds, storks.
Large frog is probably the closest you get to it, Julian.
It walks like a man, but is more like a frog. The way it steps. Are we sure we should be going on the water? And he looks like kind of like turning his head to everybody. Is this a good idea?
We'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be okay. Dolly is thinking to herself, great. That's fantastic.
Dallas is gonna blush just because it's snowing, so it's probably freezing outside. And without blushing, it's very hard to get that effect of like moisture coming out of your mouth.
Yes.
So foggy breath. So I'm just gonna blush. Lovely.
Ella thinks Julian's out of his mind currently. I was not at the last lake session, so this is all like new to her. So she's like, I don't know. Too much time at the mental health ward, I guess.
Unlike Dowser, who is attempting to breathe in a way that might cause steam, Dahlia just pulls out a cigarette, just opens up lighter.
So you, of course, become a little bit more red in the face, Dowser. You are low humanity, so it makes quite a difference when you blush. And you start to see the steam from your mouth and the heaving of your chest, and it's a little bit easier to move your body as well, actually, because all of you can feel like your joints are kind of freezing over and becoming more stiff the more you're out in this weather, because you are room temperature, and room temperature right now is below freezing.
I think Julian would rouse as well.
Okay.
Hey.
We will rouse. That's a hunger gain. Thanks very much.
That means you get a roll when you're exposed to this. Enough.
Oh, so I don't freeze up like a popsicle right away if Dowser decides to throw me overboard. Got it.
Ella, are you blushing as well, like your comrades?
Do I have to rouse for that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
You should be at hunger 1, right?
Yeah.
Wait, why?
Yeah, let's say why say it 1? Let's go back up. Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna blush, but she's gonna be hungry. A little hungrier.
You could eat. Yeah.
Yeah. These fish people.
Yeah, they might be tasty.
Barbecue sauce makes everything palatable.
Ella, you hear your beast? This is so beneath us. Just, there's a disdain in the voice. Dahlia, same thing. It's like, you almost feel, you have the mental picture of your beast rubbing its hands together, and this will be so fruitful.
Oh yeah, my beast is salivating at the bit. Like it's just like, oh, I can't wait.
All the slaves.
Oh Lord. And then I'll walk up to the guy standing on the harbor. And as I approach, just put on like a relaxed face and just go, any bites?
Earlier this morning, just sitting up for tomorrow.
Nice.
You look like you know your way around. You're wearing kind of similar jackets.
Yeah, been a while since I've been out on the water though. Is that your ship? And I'll point over to the one that has the big icebreaker.
Yeah. Old but sturdy.
Nice.
Something handed down.
You wouldn't by any chance be able to get me and my friends over to the... What's the place called?
Moonlake Correctional Facility.
Oh, no.
I could. But not for free. I'm not even gonna ask why you want to go there. You know, it's closed and fenced off and derelict.
An idiot friend of ours got stuck there, and we gotta go get him.
Fair enough. If the gas and a little extra, and I'm good.
We can do that.
Hop in. He looks at the rest of you guys. People would sense the unseen. There's something glowing beneath this jacket. You see a rune. You think that's what is glowing.
Would like to identify, please.
It looks like this.
Looks like what?
Okay, and Dahlia would recognize that as a...
You haven't seen it before.
Would I recognize that?
Tell you what, you can both do an occult if you want to.
Awesome. That's what I was waiting for.
Occult and what? Intelligence?
Yes, please.
Do I have any bonuses?
What's your specialty?
Mythos with water.
Yes.
So that's a bonus dice, yes?
Yes.
That's 2 successes.
4.
Dahlia, unfamiliar to you. Does you think it's some form of protection talisman?
Fair enough.
Our character is an elder sign.
It's a what?
Elder sign.
Don't worry about it.
Dowser's like, just don't worry about it.
Why are all my touchstones gonna die?
and while she's kind of like holding the cigarette there, she's like, so it looks like an oil rig.
Yeah, it's gonna be annoying. A lot of the fishermen, including myself, are petitioning for it to not happening because it will kind of ruin business. and also destroy our livelihoods.
So, who wants it here?
Some big company, I don't know. Never, I didn't ask, really. I just signed the papers.
You just signed the papers without asking.
Yeah. Someone said, do you want to sign this to help the lake? And yeah, I'm good. Of course I want to help the lake.
Dahlia is going to turn back to Ella and just go, like this, like these people just signing contracts without even reading them. Yeah, just
Julian, he grabs your forearm and kind of lifts you down into the boat and sits you and kind of takes your hand, and you can feel there's a railing that he puts your hand to. Hold on to this. Puts a life jacket on you as well.
Thank you. And may I recommend, when you fish again, that's a nice spot right there. There are many of them dwelling.
Yeah, they're not too big in here, and it's not. I say fish, but I'm more of a crab and eel fisherman, so I have to go out deep, toss in the cages, and wait a couple of days, pull them out.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Okay, it's hard work, and sometimes the cages break for some reason, but
It just says like that. It gives like the.
no. Poseidon has always been with me, and he kind of smiles at that. A lot of the other fishermen are not as fortunate. You all probably want to strap in, and life jacket is not going to do much, but it's going to do something. If you fall in, you're gone. Everyone who falls into the lake, they never come back out.
I can't imagine why.
Even if you float at the top
Even
with
if
the
you
life jacket.
float at the top, I don't know. You get so cold that you can't swim, and it will look like you get pulled under.
Ella will find a life jacket and put it on. See, there's one that's a little nicer than the rest. It's not too
It's these
worn,
typical
torn, and
orange things. It's like,
just trying to find the nicest of the other.
Dahlia will be doing the same thing that Ella is doing. They might even fight over the nicest life jacket. It's mine.
No uggos here. I don't care.
Dowser's not gonna put on a life jacket. He'll manage without.
Are we assuming that Henry is going with us?
yes,
Is that
we
okay.
are. In case he comes back.
Okay.
He is life jacketed.
If he doesn't come back, then he is not. He fell into the water and will.
Oh no! What happened?
You head out, Julian. You turn off your ears because the sound of the metal against ice is screeching. It's already broken, but at some point he will hit a part of the lake where it's not, because people don't typically sail to the island.
I imagine it's like somebody turning on a really loud blender with like all kinds of ice chunks in there for Julian.
It's not a nice sound. I can tell you that.
It's like nails at a chalkboard. He's like, "Ooh, no."